Outfoxed. This is a game for children and families, but I would say mainly children. Published by GameRight. It is a cooperative whodunit game. Ooh, if only this was a cooperative clue for kids, that'd be great. So I play a cooperative game, which I like cooperative because I like cooperative games, and so do my daughters. And I do not have to play Clue again. I can tell people they want to play Clue. Why don't we play this one? It's faster and cooperative. Just like recently I played Monopoly Deal, the card game, which is a game that I don't like much per se, but I like it as an alternative to playing the real Monopoly. So Outfoxed, a cooperative whodunit game. Let's see how it works. Well, it comes with this nice board here, and there is a thief that represented by this fox here that has stolen the pie, I believe, and you need to stop the thief before the thief moves along this path here and reaches this the hole here. Then the thief disappear, will never be seen again, nor will be the pie be seen again. So you have to figure out the identity. Pretty much that marks the position, but you do not know the identity. And there is a deck of possible suspects, various foxes wearing different combinations of items and garments, and they might be the thief. How do you determine the thief? Well, you need to set up the game at the beginning to determine who the thief is, but you do not know who the thief will be. One of these cards is drawn randomly from this deck, and it is placed in this nice little play right here. You put it so that the picture of on the back of the card matches the back of the visor. And you slide it in there, and then you also make sure that this little drawer here is locked, like this. And just to be safe, you keep this thing face down. It's very important that this thing doesn't open and the players see what happens, what's on the other side, so you may want to give this to an adult to maneuver to operate. The game also comes with these dice here that have icons representing paws or eyes. When it is your turn, you can do one of two things. You can look for clues, or you can look for suspects. Looking for suspects is pretty easy, but actually both clues or suspects, no matter which action you have chosen, they're resolved in the same way. That is, first you roll the dice, first you declare the action, say I'm gonna look for suspects. Then you roll the dice and you're trying to obtain 3 icons. 3 eyes if you're looking for suspects, 3 paws or 3 sides showing paws if you are looking for clues. And you can re-roll up to 3 times. Oh, there you go. For example, now I have obtained my 3 icons. I can perform the action that I wanted, that is to look for suspects. And when you look for suspects and you're successful because all of the dice are showing eyes, you draw 2 new cards from that deck and you look at them, and I'll tell you in a minute what you're looking for. The other things that you will want to do is to look for clues. In that case, you're looking for clues, roll the dice, and you're trying to obtain paws. Hooray! I got only paws. When you look for clues and all the dice are showing paws, you can move a number of squares on the board equal to the number of paws. In this case, that would be 4. Your position on the board is marked by this deer stalker hat. Each player has one. Me, as somebody who likes the original stories about Sherlock Holmes by Conan Doyle, I'm really annoyed when I see that the Deerstalker hat is used to represent a symbol of investigation, deduction. That is not accurate, but whatever, that's what we have. So when you have your paw symbols, you move around the board with your deer hats, trying to reach these symbols here. And on these symbols we have placed these tokens here, which are clues. Now, this is not how the game is set up in the instructions. In the instructions, the game is set up with these tokens here representing clues outside of the board in a pile, not on the paw areas. And the rules are very clear. When you get in one of these areas, you draw one of those. I don't know if it's a mistake, but it makes a little sense to set up this game this way, because then if you're just drawing from that deck of clues, no matter where you are, then you simply reach one of these two and you spend the rest of the game moving from one area to the next. And the rest of the board is pretty much useless. So maybe it was a mistake when they wrote the book, maybe it was a disconnection between the designer or whoever edited the book, but in any case, it makes much more sense and the game is more fun if you place the clues all around the board, so the players have to move around, and once they get a clue, then the space is exhausted and they need to move and look for another clue and so on and so forth. Now, what happens when you get a clue, for example this one? Well, you will get to learn whether the actual thief was wearing this piece of clothing or not. You take this little visor here, you put the clue in it like this, you hold it with a finger and then you slide it open. If the space shows a green dot, then that means that the thief was not wearing that piece of garment. If the space that is opened by the clue shows a red dot, not in this case, then the thief was indeed wearing that. I'm looking for, nope, I keep looking, I keep getting green things. So, but now we know, for example, after our preliminary investigation, that the thief was not carrying an umbrella, wearing a hat, or a scarf. And so we look at the suspects that we have and we can start eliminating some. For example, we know that he wasn't carrying an umbrella, so he cannot be this guy. Was not wearing a scarf, but none of these guys was not wearing a top hat, so we cannot eliminate any of these other guys. And so sometimes you're left without any suspects, which is all the more reason to look for more suspects to get new cards out of that deck. Sometimes you have only one suspect, you think, alright, but maybe you still have a good number of cards in the deck. So it's possible, unless you look at all the clues, that there will be another cards in here that also matches the clues that you have. So you may want to keep going. Now, this is how you solve the case. You collect clues and eliminate suspects after you have obtained them from the deck until you only have one, or until you feel confident, comfortable, and you decide to guess. And you need to do so, as I said, before the fox leaves the board. And the fox moves every time that you have announced an action. Roll the dice, and after 2 rerolls, you have not been able to perform the action. For example, I wanted to look for clues, and I do not have 3 eyes. I wanted to look for suspects, and I do not have 3 eyes. I wanted to look for clues, and I do not have 3 paw icons. In that case, the fox moves. The number of spaces that the fox moves each time that you fail to perform your action depends on the level of difficulty. It can move by 3, by 4, by 5 each time that you fail to perform your action, and the players will decide that number based on the level of difficulty that they want to face. So this is the game. You win if you find the thief before the fox leaves the board. You lose if the fox leaves the board. And again, this is a cooperative game, so all players win or lose together. This is Outfoxed, a really simple but really neat little cooperative game. The box says ages 5 and up, and that age seems right. I play with my daughter Amelia, who's 6. She really enjoyed it and she didn't find it too easy or too hard. It felt just right. I do not know how long the game will remain fresh. Again, here it says ages 5 and up. There's probably an upper limit above which most players will not want to go. But I'm telling you, if friends show up and for whatever reason they want to play Clue, I don't know, it doesn't matter their age, I'm gonna try to push this on them, because this is so much better than Clue, because it lasts time, and that's a huge draw, and it's cooperative. And Clue, really, I don't know why has the game been so famous, so popular. I don't know. You know, my friends they like board games. Maybe a relative comes. I don't know what kind of strange situation. The stars are wrong, and somebody wants to play Clue. Well, why not Outfoxed instead? Because it is a simple, silly game, which is not any, which is just as deep as Clue, which is not much, but it is more fun, more colorful, less, and has a cooperative element. And when you're playing it with children, I have to tell you, it is really attractive. It's really fun. The first couple of times we were playing, my daughter Amelia had not figured out how is it possible the divisor knows. Ooh, look at that. The thief had a necklace. Maybe it's you. It was like magic for her. Like, how is it possible? How does it work? How can the divisor know? And then we looked at the cards and I showed her the design and how it works. And then she figured it out. But it was really fun to see her expression of amazement as she could not figure out how the divisor could give us information that would lead to a specific suspect. And when you're playing with the kids, it's fun to see how this very simple process of matching the tokens with the images really feels like deduction, really feels like a serious, hard investigation for them. And so they're using their observation. They do need to think a little bit, to look carefully, to make sure they haven't overlooked any detail. So it's a really solid design. It's a really solid game for children. One thing, just to nitpick a little bit, there is one piece of clothing. One of the clues is a little tricky, which is the monocle and the glasses. And yes, you can tell easily when you look at the clues, but sometimes you look at some of the cards, and we were tricked at some point because we thought that one was the other, and then we went through the clues again, like this guy probably at the beginning. There was at least one time that we got that wrong. You are warned, it's not a big deal at all, especially once we know that was just the one game that we were thrown off because we didn't realize that those were two different items and they were marked differently on the foxes. Other than that, it's a smart little idea. Really not like this design idea here that allows you to play Clue cooperatively, so you get information without getting the result, without getting the solution. At the core, really is a Clue game. It's in the sense of like it's about exclusion, it's about progressive exclusion of hypotheses rather than true deduction, true reasoning. But as a quasi-deduction game, this is one that's entertaining. Definitely one that I enjoy playing with my daughter, and that my daughter Amelia has played too. As I said, I bought it on Amazon. It was as a special offer. Maybe they still have it. Maybe it still is available at a low price. I think I paid like $14, $15 for it, and that was a really sweet price because for that price, it's a really good game. I do not know at a higher price, but well, I do not have to face that scenario. In any case, if you can find a copy of Outfoxed, you're looking for a good cooperative game for children, and maybe you'll find one that is not too expensive, definitely Outfoxed would be a good option.